49ers faced a great defense last week, put up 3 points. Now they're going across the country to face the champs. Since the start of November, 49ers offense had been excellent before they ran into the Seahawks. The Eagles defense has just been terrific. Brew, are you expecting a bounce-back game from Brock Purdy?
I mean, I think he'll play fine, but I expect Philadelphia to win. I think they're the better team. I think their defense is great. And San Francisco's so banged up, particularly on the defensive side. But then even offensively, Ricky Pearsall, their best receiver, arguably him or Jennings, whatever, but he hasn't practiced all week. Trent Williams practiced a little bit yesterday. I assume he'll play since he practiced a little bit yesterday. But if he plays, it helps them. Maybe they have a better chance. Purdy hasn't had a bad playoff game. He hasn't been great in all of them, but in 6 playoff games, he hasn't been bad. He hasn't had a passer rating below 86. But this defense, I mean, look, they held Josh Allen to 12 points. They held Jared Goff to 9 points. They held J-Lo, Jordan Love, to 7 points, and they held Mahomes to 17. So I think I see Philly winning something like 28-20. So I think Purdy will play.
I mean, that would be a lot for both teams.
Well, I think Philly's going to put up some points against that defense.
That'd be nice.
So I think Purdy will play fine, but I don't see an upset win and him going crazy.
Yeah, when I was looking at this, I was trying to look at Purdy versus Vic Fangio's defense, and there's no data there. And you hear Kyle Shanahan, he's talked about how he wanted to hire Vic Fangio at different points throughout his career. And then I looked at Shanahan as an offensive coordinator, a head coach versus Fangio, and it's not great. So he's 1-3, only scored 10.3 points per game. Wow. The TD and interception ratio is not great. The passer rating is not great. And look, it's not always apples to apples, but it is, it is scheme against scheme, and it is familiarity, and it is success rate. And over a 4-game stretch, you'd like to see the numbers be better than that. So I'm leaning towards the opposite of them having a bounce-back game.
I don't worry about them missing Pearsall. I think that the 3 most important players on that offense are Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, and George Kittle. And I think the biggest miss this past week, Brew, was Williams more than Pearsall.
Williams.
So the fact that he did practice in limited capacity already this week makes me think it's a playoff game, and it's Sunday instead of Saturday, which is just schedule luck or whatever. But I think that matters for this team. I do think he'll have a bounce back game in as much as. I don't think he's going to turn the ball over a bunch, and I don't think they're going to be held in single figures. And I think that could be enough. Like, I think
so you don't see Philly doing much.
I don't trust Philadelphia. If I'm doing this in real time. Reverse power ranking, like offenses I trust in these playoffs, right? So Carolina is probably my first pick. Denver is maybe my second pick, and then after that, it might be Philadelphia. Trying to, the Chargers possibly because of their issues, but I think the Texans are on there as well. Like I said, I'm doing it in real time. But I don't think there is a switch that Philadelphia is going to be able to flip. So I don't think the Niners have to score 28 to win the game. Yeah, I think this is a very close, good game. And so I think that the Niners offense will do enough to keep them in it. Because I think the Niners have a prolific offense against an excellent defense. The Eagles have a run-of-the-mill offense against a mediocre at best defense. So I think those two things kind of match up. It's like fair fights, but no matter who has the ball. Bad offense against bad defense and great offense against great defense. To me, those are fair fights. And I will give Purdy his respect in that I do not worry about the stage being too big for him. I was worried about that early in his career, particularly when he was throwing passes off guys' face mask catch for touchdowns, but I don't worry about that.
Brock Purdy's record with Trent Williams, 33-10. Without, 1-7. So I bet he plays.
I think he'll play.
In the Avengers analogy, that he's the Incredible Hulk.
I did not know that. Let's head up to scenic New England. Welcome back to First Things First. Chargers at Patriots. This one is going to be on Sunday night. I'm going to ask you a straight-up question here. Who wants to go first? I'll change my tone of voice. Who would you rather have here? Herbert, who has a broken hand and missing
I think his hands.
A lot of his
healed.
offensive line healed totally.
Well,
I mean, for the most part,
He says it feels better, but I believe
Yeah.
it's still broken.
but
Okay.
it's not
Or Drake
huge factor.
Maye, who might win the MVP.
In this game, in this matchup, I'd rather have Herbert. And it is not just the. So the reasoning is multifaceted. One is Justin Herbert has been bad in his 2 playoff games. He was really good the first half of the first one, then did nothing the second half, and then downright awful in the second one. I do not think he's going to go his whole career. Never, you know what? I'm Andy Dalton it. Just never have a good playoff game. I don't think that is going to happen, even though I don't yet trust him. It's happened before.
In that first game, I mean, he was great in the first half. He just didn't do anything in the second half. It wasn't like he was throwing picks.
No, he wasn't. He didn't turn the ball over.
It was more the defense,
But I do believe that that there is a decent chance that the worst playoff game Drake Maye has in the next 5 years is this one. It's his first one. I think the Chargers' defense is excellent, and I think that is a tough spot for any player. I also think, now that I know we're allowed to show stupid graphs from Twitter involving EPA, that this graphic would concern me about how good is the Patriots' pass defense. So what this graphic
That's a lot.
is the opponent EPA per dropback, excluding the game when they played that team. So essentially all the quarterback, you understand what it says or no, KW?
No,
Okay.
I like it.
I'm lost.
All right, so let me
I see that word, the worst.
I fell asleep 45 minutes ago.
There you
But I'm
go.
interested.
So all the quarterbacks that you played,
Yes.
their season-long performance by EPA, if you remove their game against you guys.
Oh, take them.
So what that means is, like, the Eagles played awesome quarterbacks all year. The Vikings played awesome quarterbacks. The Patriots are the only team who it's not only the worst, the quarterbacks they played collectively this season have a negative EPA. You love EPA.
Yeah, they weren't
This
good.
is, I mean, it's because you played Quinn Ewers, Brady Cook, Jackson Dart, Flacco, Fields, Gabriel, Penix, Ward, Rattler. So I just think that Herbert might be able to take advantage of your defense. Tough spot for Drake Maye in his first playoff game. So that's my answer there.
That's not a horrible answer.
No, and
you've
for my
got the
upset
Chargers
alert,
here,
hopefully he's right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say Drake Maye, just because
What's up, KW?
we've never seen him play a bad game.
That's exactly right. Have you seen
At
Herbert?
least this year.
Have you seen Herbert play a bad game?
Yes, in this moment,
In the
yes,
playoffs.
in the playoffs.
It's a great point.
But also, and look, a bad game is certainly on the table. There's no question about that. However, we have seen coach several young quarterbacks. I said it yesterday. Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud. Like in their first playoff game,
Burrow.
some of them were outstanding. And so I agree the Chargers have a good defense. I think they might be able to, get to May and cause some trouble. But I have seen Herbert. I mean, I don't know how in the world he threw 4 interceptions last year in that playoff game. And so without that, his offensive line, I'm going to say of the two, just the quarterbacks, I would take Drake.
So I picked Herbert to be my MVP after Burrow went down. And so obviously I liked him, and I really like Jim Harbaugh a lot, and I like Greg Roman a lot, their offensive coordinator. I work with both of those guys. But I do think there is an element of scar tissue there when you've had bad playoff experiences. So you may have to get over that to feel comfortable, moving forward, where the advantage that Drake Maye has is he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And he's got a really good captain of his ship in terms of Josh McDaniels to be able to protect him early, whether it's the screens, whether it's a hard sell play action, whether it's a max protection, allowing him to get comfortable and making sure that he can go, but he's not being reckless. And that almost youthful ignorance of not being there could it be an advantage in this first situation?
I wrote down, I didn't know you had a relationship with Greg Roman. I should have checked it.
Yeah.
But I think Josh McDaniels is better than Greg Roman. And I don't want you to pit two people that you've worked with.
Well, they're also very different.
against
Greg
each
Roman's kind of known for what he can do for a team's run game.
And Chargers
Josh
still run the
McDaniels
ball.
more so than the pass game.
And Roman is good, but Josh, I mean,
I assume.
he's got
I just
the
is
better
you
They're
think
ball.
both excellent.
Yeah,
But
Josh
if you had to pick,
Josh is.
if you had
No,
to
but
pick
you can have
one.
that opinion. Like,
Well,
I think most
I
people
think
agree
it's
with
almost
you.
pretty
I think
clear
most people,
cut.
I think
and
most
that's
people
no
look
shade
at
against
Daniels
Roman.
as
Here's the interesting thing about Josh. So Josh was actually my assistant in the secondary when he started. And everybody in our family tree always starts on the other side of the ball. So he started on defense, and he worked on defense for a couple years and then moved to offense. And where I think that's a distinction for a coordinator is you truly understand how defenses are trying to attack you. And that's not to say that an offensive coordinator couldn't understand it, but it's a different level of understanding and learning when you've been there, taught it, game planned, and that's why I think Josh is unique from that perspective.
Excellent. I obviously think.
But you can keep going.
No, I obviously think Drake Maye. I mean, I know we've been joking around, but Herbert is a prime candidate to melt down. And I do like your idea of like, well, he's not going to melt down every game. Like, yeah, I agree with you. But do we have Herbert in the playoffs his last two games just to dig into those numbers?
Oh, yeah.
It's the completion percentage for that first game against Trevor was at 58%. He did have 273 yards. But a passer rating was 84 in his first game, and then 41
And the
in the
completion
really bad
percentage
game against
was
the
like
Texans.
42% against the Texans.
Yeah, 44.
He's 14 of 32.
So, look, I do believe in, like, hey, you can't have several bad games. I don't think he's an all-time playoff choker. I think that would be very strange. But
listen, Danny's been doing the Peyton comp all year. Peyton's first 3 playoff games were all awful.
yeah,
and then
I
his
saved it for
okay.
I saved
Well,
it for OG.
well, they weren't all
His
against
third,
No, we just sent him home.
no, but
That's the last one.
His fourth playoff game, which was his year 6 playoff game, he was perfect.
So
but
year
the one against
3,
the
Peyton
Jets,
Manning,
it was awful.
41-0.
Yeah, no, it was
Completed 45%.
This is not the graphic Wilds wanted. That's my graphic.
That's a good one.
That's his 4th playoff game. The 3rd playoff game, the game before that, he was awful. So guys who end up being really good, like Matt Stafford lost his first 3 playoff games. Matt Ryan lost his first 3 playoff games. Peyton Manning, who we mentioned, lost his first 3 playoff games, played poorly in all of them. So that would be that's a preview of if Herbert's bad and they lose, Danny's A block on Monday. Like, look at these guys who ended up being great, who were awful through.
We're still on track.
Yeah.
Stafford. All right, we're going to move on to Bills Jags Sunday afternoon. Prince trying to add a jewel to his crown with a win over the former MVP. Trevor's last 6 games, he's just been excellent.
Yeah.
The team is scoring 34 points a game, almost at 300 total yards, some big passes, passer rating of 113, and again, 19 touchdowns and only 1 turnover. What would a win over Josh Allen mean for the Prince?
That he's arrived. That it was an odd path, and it took longer than a lot of us expected or hoped. But what we poke fun of the fact that I care about that he was 7th in MVP voting in his second year. But the reason I bring that up is at the end of year 2, he was right on schedule. It was like year 1, there was a lot of quarterbacks have had bad rookie years. Yeah. A lot of blame went on Urban Meyer. Year 2, he played his best ball at the end of the year, won a playoff game, and again had the horrific first half, but then was brilliant late. And it felt right on schedule. And he took that momentum into year 3, and then midway through that year, he got hurt. It was bad. And then year 4, it was awful. And now this year, winning this game, finishing the season the way he did, beating Josh Allen, it's like, okay, he is, people won't be like, that's a bad contract. People will, and I think they will look at him as an opportunity to, over the course of this postseason, enter the elite quarterback club. Like Herbert has that opportunity as well. Drake Maye has that, maybe is already there in some eyes, but certainly has that opportunity. There's guys with that opportunity, and so Trevor, it would stamp him as nobody's going to be like, oh, do the Jags need to figure out what they're going to do about Trevor Lawrence if they win this game?
Yeah, so year 2, he had a new head coach, and he got hot at the end of the season.
And they won.
Really
And then,
unbelievable.
And they won. They won the playoff game.
4 picks in the first
They
round.
won.
Yeah.
And
then
31-30 playoff game.
Take a couple years off. We get a new head coach. We get hot at the end of the season. So that to me is, I don't know which guy we're getting. Are we getting the streaky Trevor Lawrence? Is this going to be his pattern where he gets hot, and then let's see how he does in the playoffs, and then we're going to have to wait 2 more years, and maybe he'll get hot again when he has a new head coach, or whether he truly has arrived. And I think it depends on how he wins this game. Just like we talked about with Josh Allen, if he wins a game like similar to the Denver game. I mean, Denver, he was outstanding. What is he? 23 of 36, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 115 quarterback rating in Denver against a really, one of the top defense in the league. To me, if it's that type of performance, that signals he's arrived. Where if it's Josh Allen tries to be Superman, throws a pick that leads to a touchdown, has a fumble that leads to, takes points off the board, and it's a shaky game. I don't know if it's the same level of he's arrived.
Yeah, I agree more with Coach. Like they won a lot of games, beat a lot of good teams with him playing okay or mediocre or whatever. And I guess that possibly could happen in this game. But even if he's great, I would not fully be ready to say he's arrived. It would be more validation of what he's done these last 6 games. Now it would be 7 games. But I wouldn't be ready to fully stamp him. I mean, if he continued throughout the playoffs and did it, that's one thing. But he's been so up and down his whole career. There have been so many stretches, yes, some good stretches, some equally long or longer bad stretches, that I would be like, okay, he might have arrived. He might be there. I just wouldn't be really ready to give him my full backing yet as – he's a great quarterback.
And what I wonder is is he going to be on an accelerated Stafford trajectory? The huge arm, highly touted #1 pick who showed you his talent early. Now, Stafford didn't have as down of a year as Trevor had last year and just needed to get with the right coach partnership to unlock him fully. I understand Stafford had to go to LA.
He's got to be more accurate. Like, he's still around 60%
That's got to happen for more than every 2 years.
Well, again, it's his first year with Liam Cohen. I think coaching matters, Coach.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.